Do you want to memorize things quickly and also remember with ease? It is exactly that I'm going to be discussing in this video. A very simple technique, which by the way I have been using over the years to memorize things quickly and also remember them with ease. Y'all are much welcome to my channel. My name is Afagza Sifuna. By the way, this technique is very simple. It only combines two things. One from the field of psychology, another one from management. From psychology, there's something called the serial position effect. What is the serial position effect? It is a very simple principle in psychology which explains how the human memory reconnects or remembers things. In essence, it argues that people out here tend to recall what happens at the beginning and at the end of any given series best. And they remember what happens in between worst. I'm very sure you can actually relate to this. Assuming you're watching a given video, the information being shared or the data therein is actually neutral and none spikes your interest. Chances are, if you're watching something, if you're conversing with someone, if you're reading something, you're gonna most likely remember the very first part of it and also the end of it. And whatever happens in between, you may remember a few of that, but most of it is gonna be forgotten. That's actually what the serial position effect articulates. This gives rise to two sub-principles: the sub-principle of primacy and principle of recency, which actually what happens at the beginning is summarized by the sub-principle of primacy, and what happens at the end is summarized by the sub-principle of recency. In essence, you remembering what happens at the beginning and also what happens at the end. Guys, have that in mind. That's the first part. And then the second part of it is something called the Pomodoro technique of time management. What is Pomodoro technique of time management? It essentially articulates how best you can go about managing time. And actually argues that when someone is doing tasks, they need to be having different sessions. First of all, the session for doing the actual task and a brief break after that session, okay? Again, after the break, have another session of doing something followed by a given brief break. And the Pomodoro technique argues that based on someone's concentration span, most likely 25 minutes of doing a task followed by 5 minutes break is essential. And in case you're combining the 4 25-minute time sessions, then you're gonna be able to adjust pretty well by catching quite a longer break. Talk about 20 minutes, 30 minutes break. So putting these two together, what I do to actually memorize things quickly and also remember with ease is that, assuming I'm supposed to do multiple things, I go about by first of all scheduling them based on priority, right? Assuming you're studying for an exam, you have, for example, 7 subjects you need to study or 7 units you need to study. You are under a given crash with regards to time. What are you gonna do? You know which of these 7 units are a priority. You need to prioritize this in a given time series. Most likely short-term span. Personally, I prefer short-term span. Other people out here prefer a longer-term span. But don't fool yourself by, for example, sitting down to read a given unit, for example, for 8 hours. Chances are you're gonna forget a huge chunk of what you've read. But in case you plan your schedule pretty well, for example, have 30-minute sessions, under which 25 is for the actual activity, and then followed by a 5-minute break. That is gonna make your life easy. Assuming you have unit A, you're supposed to read unit A, right? Make it very simple. You understanding that you're gonna remember what happened at the beginning and at the end best, and you're gonna forget a lot of what happened in between. You can actually plan units, all of them to be covered by just within 30-minute session. That way, iteratively, it's gonna make your life easy. And with this, you're gonna actually have a very clear plan with regards to dedication of time for each study session, right? Followed by a given dedication of a break, which is gonna make you actually purpose to cover as much as you can within this time frame, appreciating that you're gonna remember most of what to start with and what you finalize on before taking a break. In case you do this, you're gonna actually enable your mind to be able to reconnect or to remember things with ease. That way you can easily cover, for example, studying 4 units under a time frame of 5 hours. And by the way, you gotta remember the essential things or the highlights of all these 5 units, because the most important information you're gonna have covered at the beginning of it, and also in the course of the study or maybe at the end of it, having key examples which actually type this start point, which is the critical information, is going to assist you be able to reconnect all these things and remember them with ease, which, by the way, most people out here don't do that. You can find someone out here, for example, sitting down for 5 hours to cover one particular unit. Yes, you could be able to do that, but you're going to be doing that by essentially passing time, not by you being purposeful in regards to your ability to remember or to be able even to reconnect what you've read. In case you have these two techniques together and you combine them, this serial position effect combined with the Pomodoro technique for time management, most likely going to be able to optimize your ability to memorize things quickly and also recall them with ease. That is very fundamental. And by the way, this is a technique I've been using over the years to assist me be able to memorize things quickly and also remember them with ease. Which technique do you use? Is there a technique used out there? Share with us down below in the comment section. But I think, guys, most of the times, even that's why you've seen students out there cramming a lot of things last minute to the exam. It's not because they are very sharp. It's just because of the adrenaline rush. They tend to remember what they've read at the last minutes compared to, for example, what has been taught to them or what they've read throughout the term, throughout the semester. You know, the ability to remember is picked at the very end, but also what most people forget is that also your ability to remember is picked at the beginning. So in case you have a very good plan with regards to how you're going to go about covering a given piece of content, chances are you are going to be able to optimize your ability to, first of all, absorb information, store this information, and you being able to reconnect with it or recall it with ease. Because whatever happened at the beginning and the end, you're going to be able to connect with it very, very easily. And by the way, you may be wondering why the breaks in between the different sessions. You know, in the field of knowledge is something called assimilation. Beyond someone studying for something or even absorbing a given piece of information, looking at a given piece of data and trying to ingest that in their system, it is good after any session for you to take a break to actually absorb or assimilate whatever you've been able to acquire. That's why these breaks are very important. Assuming you have 30-minute session for one unit followed by a 30-minute session for another unit, you studying for somewhere between 20 to 25 minutes and then just taking 5 minutes for you to reflect on what you've studied is going to assist you to be able to assimilate all this knowledge you've gathered. This is very critical because your mind at a particular point in time is going to have remembered best or absorbed best what happened at the beginning, what happened at the end. So you're catching a break of 5 minutes to assimilate or absorb that piece of information you've acquired over the previous 25 minutes is going to assist you kind of like quote unquote cement what you've gathered for you to be able to recall even days to come or months to come. Do that iteratively and it's going to actually boost your ability to memorize things quickly and also be able to recall or remember them with ease. You appreciating how the human minds work when it comes to remembering information is going to assist you optimize on all engagements you have, optimize on all schedules you have, because it's even going to be important for you to understand that it's most likely beneficial for you to have a meeting for 20 minutes or 30 minutes as opposed to you, for example, having a meeting for 2 hours, because within these 30 minutes, you're going to be very clear with regards to what your goal is. More so, set the agenda upright the first few minutes, agree on what the outcome is the last few minutes, and that's the key takeaway. Whatever happened in between is good to know, but the key takeaway is what the agenda was, how it was covered, and what the follow-up items are. So guys, this is the simple tip I use to actually absorb information or memorize quickly and also recall that information with ease. Which technique do you use? Share with us down below in the comment section. But I think this is a cool technique to be able to evoke. And by the way, you're going to apply it in whichever spheres of life. Whether you're studying, whether you're setting up meetings, whether you're organizing your own private company, you're organizing your own affairs and so forth. These are key techniques to know because it's going to assist you great times. Cheers. Thanks a lot for watching. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos next time.